it's me Geeky and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I have got a rather large haul for you. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably my biggest one ever on the channel. I know I said in my last video or my last haul video that I was going to tone down my spending, and technically I have done. This is what I have accumulated over the last few months since my previous haul, and obviously I have done an unhaul recently, so that kind of has shifted enough space for me to add a few more things into the collection. But there is about 90 plus volumes here, I'm not going to lie, so this is definitely going to be a long one. I think I'm probably gonna split this into two videos potentially, because I have a funny feeling this is going to be maybe an hour long. So yeah, that might be the case. So if that is, you might get two parts. So two videos is better than one, right guys? But before we get started, don't forget to give this video a like, comment and subscribe. You guys know the deal with that. Also pop into the Manga Dudettes Discord, which is listed down below, for some after hours manga fun. Also, if my voice starts to sound a little bit croaky, I'm recovering from a bit of a sore throat / cold, so do excuse me, I could be a mess, I could be all over the place. But yeah, I think I'm going to split this into Shounen Seinen and Josei Shojo. Yes, let's do that. There is quite a bit on both piles. Obviously Viz Media has taken the bag for both, but I'm going to split them into Shounen Seinen, Josei, Shojo, and then their respective like publishers, so it's a little bit more easy to follow. I also picked up a box set which will probably be added in at the end of the video potentially. So yeah, let's just get this started. So I'm gonna grab my Shonen and Seinen stuff first, and I think I'm gonna go with the three publishers that I've only got one volume for first, which is Kodansha, Seven Seas and Yen Press. So to start it off, I have the volume from last month that never made it into the haul, and that is the Seven Deadly Sins, Four Nights of the Apocalypse, volume 3. I have read this one and I have read volume 4 as well, and I have really enjoyed all 4 volumes of what I've read so far. Going into the story, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Yes, it's got the Seven Deadly Sins in the title of the story, but the first couple of volumes didn't really have much to do with the Seven Deadly Sins. It was just set in the same world. However, 3 and 4 introduced one of our good old friends back from the original Seven Deadly Sins crew, so I am super excited to see where this series goes. I think the actual characters that they've used in the series, like the teenagers, are super fun, and just their powers and the power levels very similar to Seven Deadly Sins. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this, and it does cameo a couple of characters from the original series, so I cannot wait to continue on with the series. Then we move on to who is this, Seven Seas, and I picked up volume 3 and 4. I haven't actually read this volume physically yet, but I am quite far into the story. When it was on Kindle Unlimited, I've read all the way up to volume 20 and really enjoyed this series. I've watched the anime and got my younger brother into it, which is really exciting because there's not that many series that my brother will actually sit and watch. So the fact that I've managed to get him into this, I'm super excited. He's not a manga reader, he will just do the anime only route, but he really enjoyed this as well. I heard that it kind of drops off later on in the series. I'm gonna stockpile quite a few volumes of these before I jump in, because obviously I have read up to volume 20, so that's about 10 omnis in. So yeah, I will stockpile this but then continue. But I'm super excited to continue this journey with Tokyo Revengers. Next we have Yen Press, and this is a volume or a series that was super hyped on Instagram, and I was really curious about the actual series itself. I'm super interested in picking up the other series by this mangaka, and for the life of me I cannot think of what that series is called right now. I think it's like After the Rain. Yeah, After the Rain, that's what it's called. But I haven't picked that one up yet. It's only a 5-volume series, but I've watched the anime and really enjoyed it, so I was definitely curious about June Miyuzaki's new work that's been released, and that is Kowloon Generic Romance Volume 1. I really enjoyed this series. I think it's best for me not to really explain too much about the series or this particular volume, because it's better off going in blind, because there's a little bit of a twist at the end and you could kind of see it coming, but you weren't exactly certain. You knew something wasn't exactly right as the more you read this volume, but it's super interesting. I feel like it's going to be like a sci-fi mystery drama kind of situation, and I'm here for it. The art style is gorgeous. The actual backgrounds of this series are stunning. I'm trying to find a good page where it's not too spoilery, but just the actual backgrounds itself are super stunning, and I'm really impressed with this series as a whole so far. Some people didn't like it too much, but yeah, for a first volume I really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to read volume 2. Moving on to the biggest stack of the Shounen Seinen manga piles, and that is Viz Media. I kind of went ham with Viz Media. I picked up a box set which is up on the top of my shelves, which I'll probably insert a clip in at some point in this video, but I picked up the Demon Slayer box set, so I now have 1, 2, 23 of that series. I'm super excited to get into that. I have watched the first 2 seasons of the anime as well as the film, and I really enjoyed it. The animation is chef kiss beautiful. Also, I like the art style of the original manga anyway, so for me I'm super excited to jump into the original source material. The reason why I picked it up was because I was going to go the 3 for 2 route, but when I saw this absolute steal online, I was just like, this is actually cheaper than 3 for 2 price, so why not? I actually picked it up for under £100, which is a bargain, so I'm so excited to have that in the collection. But yeah, I will insert some sort of video around here so you guys can see what it looks like. But you guys know it's Demon Slayer, you've probably seen the covers, you've probably seen the box set, so I don't really need to go too much into detail on that. But moving on to the actual singles, first up is volume 7 of Undead Unluck. I really like this series. It's just an interesting premise. I like the idea of all the powers and the book, this mysterious book, and trying to stop the world from basically falling into disarray. So yeah, I'm really interested in this. I heard from Cake Tins though that it's in its final arc potentially, so I'm a little bit upset. I could be wrong with that information and probably heard it wrong because I've not been too well, so my brain's a bit all over the place. But I hope it's not going to end sometime soon, because surprisingly this is one of my favourite ones out this year so far, minus one other which you're about to see next. But yeah, I'm super excited to continue this series. Definitely pick it up if you haven't. I believe there's some anime coming out soon, so hopefully this series will get a little bit more hype behind it. But yeah, check it out if you haven't already, and yeah, let's move on. So next is a new release, or at least new release to the UK. I know volume 4 is out in America, but it hasn't made its way over here yet. And that is volume 3 of Sakamoto Days. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favourite new shonens to be released in English this year. It's so much fun. I love this little chubby assassin that is about, I don't know where is he? Where is he? Where is Sakamoto? If I show you, I feel like this is going to be too much. Yes, the little chubby assassin, like, he is so cute and I love him to pieces. This series is full of action, comedy and adventure, so I cannot wait to see where this goes. Volume 3 ended off as a cliffhanger because they're in the middle of a fight, so I can't wait to get volume 4 to read the conclusion. Next is an oldie but goodie, and that is the 20th anniversary edition of Bleach volume 1. Now don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy Bleach and it's one of my favourite series like ever in terms of shonen. It's probably, I don't know, it's definitely up there, and it's just nostalgic to me. Me and my brother used to watch it when we were kids, and well, I say kids, more like teenagers, but same thing, it's over 10 years ago, so kids to me. So when I saw this was bringing out a 20th anniversary edition, I was like, okay, I need to get this. I'm a sucker for Bleach, so obviously I was going to pick this up. I have to say the release is really strange. Like, it has this like velvety matte finish, and the illustrations, if you can see, are shiny on the front. The only thing I would say about this release is the fact that I wouldn't recommend it if you're going to read it. The pages just don't feel very easy to read. As you can see, it's quite stiff, so this is definitely for me a collector's sort of volume, just because I'm not going to read this. It's probably going to be displayed on my shelf at one point when I have enough room to display them, but right now I now have all of the OG big three for me, so One Piece, Naruto and Bleach, so I'm super excited to add this to the collection. I know we are now getting the 1000 Year Blood War arc animated, and volume 2 was out yesterday, and I have to say I'm super hyped. Like, I never finished past the Fullbring arc, so I need to get back on it. I think I've only got 5 volumes away from having it complete in my collection anyway, so I feel like I might try and hurry up and collect those and binge through the last sort of 30 volumes or so just to get up to date, because I feel like from what I've heard they've changed a few of the bits from the original manga, because there was a lot that was missed out and not too much context was given to a lot of the events that happened. So I'm hoping the anime is going to fill in those gaps once I've read it, but I'm super hyped for it. Then we have another special volume for me, and that is volume 100 of One Piece. I did pay full retail price for this. I could have waited and got it on 3 for 2 when I make my trip soon, but I just couldn't resist. I saw it, and I was just like, shit, I need to have this. This is now my longest running series in my collection, and One Piece just has a special place in my heart. Like, it's my pick-me-up series. You guys know this. Every time I pick up a volume of One Piece or a volume of the anime or whatever, I always tell you guys this is my pick-me-up, because it truly is. It's just a fantastic adventure series with so much character, so much fun, so much mystery, so much adventure, and I just love it. And I think we're pretty much done with the One arc at this point. I think there may be like 2 or 3 volumes left until we are done with the One arc. But honestly, Oda is killing it with the recent chapters, and I cannot wait to see where this series goes. I hope this is going to have an absolutely phenomenal ending. You know, sometimes in manga you'll have an amazing beginning and middle, but the ending is so rubbish it feels like it negates everything prior to that ending. I hope this is not going to be the case with One Piece. I hope that Oda's life work is going to have the most incredible ending that just leaves my jaw just dropped. But I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see how this ends. I'm going to be very sad when it does. Believe me, I'll probably sit and have a little cry. But nothing can replace One Piece in my heart, honestly. It's beautiful. So the next few volumes are a little bit more spooky. I suppose it's kind of relevant considering we're in October and we are in spooky season. But the first volume is volume 18 of The Grey Man, and also volume 21. I've had this series in my collection for a little while. During the pandemic, or just before the pandemic, I'd started to pick up some of these volumes secondhand on World of Books for really good prices, and I wish I had continued to do so, because some of these later volumes are a little bit more harder to find now, which sucks. But it is super creepy, super good, and I cannot wait to continue reading. I'm not going to give much explanation as to what this series is about, as it's been quite a long time, but from the top of my head, basically these Akumas are attacking humans. They're trying to find, the Millennium Earl is trying to find this substance called innocence, and basically he plants Akuma inside human bodies and they eat their family and friends. And basically Alan Walker here on the front is gone to the Black Order in order to find the Millennium Earl and kind of get rid kind of thing. He's also been abandoned by his sensei, so he's trying to find his sensei through the Order as well. So it's very interesting. I've probably mullered that explanation. I do apologise if that does not sound interesting at all. But trust me, it is. I've really enjoyed it and I need to get on it. I believe there's 27 volumes out at the moment. But it was on hiatus for a long time as the mangaka wasn't very well. But it's now off of hiatus but moved from weekly to monthly. So we don't get as many volumes out as we used to. But it's still such a great series and I would highly suggest you picking it up. Viz has also released 3-in-1s, which are a little bit easier to find, but still a little bit out of stock. So if you see them, pick them up. Talking about a little bit spooky, you guys are probably thinking, Emma, it's not even that spooky, but it is a little bit. It's a little bit more darker than, say, your action adventure shonens or your light-hearted sports mangas. But next up we have Jujutsu Kaisen volume 16 and 17. Now this takes us well into the Shibuya arc from what I can gather, and I believe volume 17/18 might be the last volume of the arc, so I'm waiting until I've got volume 19 and 20 to possibly sit down and do a reread / binge read, because I haven't actually read past volume 8 or 9, so I believe it was just the start of the Shibuya arc, and then I heard so much great stuff and I was like, if I do not have the entirety of the Shibuya arc and it stops halfway through for me and I have to wait for volumes, I'm not going to be happy. So I'm just biding my time until I've got the last few volumes to then pick it up and binge read. But the anime was great. I cannot wait for season 2, and I need to get on that movie because I still haven't watched it yet. So yeah, still behind on a few things, but I'm still happy to be picking this up nonetheless. So next up we have volumes 21 and 22 of Dr. Stone. This continues to be a fantastic series. I haven't actually read these 2 volumes yet. I'm still stuck on volume 18, I think it is 18 or 19. But because this is only a 26 volume series, I'm probably going to do the same thing, hold off until I have all 26 and then reread and possibly binge it. It's just such a great series. If you guys have been on the channel for a while, you guys would know that I am a little bit of a science nerd. However, not necessarily the science that's used in this particular series. I'm more into space and astronomy, but this still kind of feels a little bit of a hole in my heart that I have been craving, and I cannot wait to see how this ends and how everything gets wrapped up. But yeah, the anime was just as good as the manga. I felt like the pacing might have been a little bit better in the anime for somebody that doesn't like a slow burning series, which I feel this is a little bit. If you are used to a more fast paced action shonen, this is slightly more laid back, but it is so good nonetheless, so I definitely recommend you pick it up. Then moving on to an absolute banger of a series, in my opinion. It's so funny, and honestly I feel like I'm collecting this series purely for the actual comedy in it. I didn't necessarily like the setting to start off with, but the further I read in, the more I fell in love with the main character because he's such a goofball, and that is Mashle, Magic and Muscles volume 4, 5 and 6. I hope you guys can see that. I don't know if this is focusing. There we go. 4, 5 and 6. Honestly, this is such a funny read, and I have a funny feeling I might have hauled this in my previous haul a few months ago. If I have, I'm really sorry, and if I have hauled a couple of these volumes in my previous haul, I do apologise. I don't actually remember. I didn't reread or rewatch the video that I filmed for the haul video to make sure I wasn't duplicating anything, so I do apologise. But yeah, there's not a lot to say from Mashle, Magic and Muscles other than the fact that it's super funny and it's a cross between Harry Potter and One Punch Man. I'm still trying to get Reese to finish reading this. He still only read volume 1, but I think I'm going to give up at this point because I broke our contract and I have now bought a crap ton of manga. So I have ceased communication with Reese following a conversation I had with my lawyer, Kate Tins. So on her advice, I have now officially ceased all contact and still buying manga. Moving on, we have a mangaka that is probably one of my favourites. I have a lot of series by this particular mangaka, and that is Rumiko Takahashi. So I managed to pick up volume 5 and 6 of Mao. I haven't read these 2 volumes yet. Again, I feel like I'm going to stockpile a couple more of these until I sit and have a binge of them. If this is anything like Inuyasha going forward, I feel like it's just going to be absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed the first few volumes that I read of this. It gave me Inuyasha vibes, and I'm a massive fan of Inuyasha. However, Inuyasha is done with more dog demons and yokai. This is done with more like cat demons and yokai, and it's set in a completely different era. However, from face value, they kind of are similar, but I feel like this is going to be done better. But Inuyasha can never be replaced in my heart. It just can't. I'm currently rewatching the anime, or the first season of the anime on Netflix. Hopefully Netflix releases more, and hopefully the UK gets more of the Blu-rays, because I really want to collect the Blu-rays. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this, and I cannot wait to continue reading more. Moving on to the last series of the Shounen / Seinen part of this haul, and I managed to pick up volume 2 of Alice in Borderland. Not only did I pick up volume 2, but volume 3 arrived in the mail today, and I have read both of them, and I have to say this is probably one of my favourite reads of the year when it comes to action and violence, because it's just absolutely fantastic. Volume 2 left me feeling very uncomfortable for our main character because the situation that he was put into, and now we have volume 3 and 4. Honestly, the situation hasn't really changed too much for him. He's still in a really shitty situation. However, he seems to have accumulated a few more allies around him, which is super exciting. But they are currently in the middle of a major death game, so I'm slightly concerned for his safety and the people around him. Volume 4 left off with a cliffhanger, and we're starting to learn a little bit more about some of the characters surrounding our main character and a little bit of their backgrounds. Unfortunately, from the looks of things, the people that were sent into these games had really crappy pasts, and pasts that they would just like to escape from. And obviously, being in this Alice in Borderland situation in these death games, it certainly sent them to a different world. So yeah, I'm super interested to see where this series goes. Volume 4 has been pre-ordered because honestly, I just can't get enough of this series. I definitely didn't think I would enjoy this as much as I have done. On the surface, I felt like this wasn't necessarily going to be something that I enjoyed. Don't get me wrong, I do like a series with a bit of violence, but I wasn't entirely sure how I was going to feel because the art style wasn't necessarily for me. I didn't like the designs of some of the characters, like from his friends. They were a bit weird, and yeah, I wasn't too sure. But actually, now that I've read volume 3, I'm hooked. Oh, I am seriously hooked. I cannot wait to see where this series goes. I might, now that I believe I'm past the drama, the Japanese drama, I might pop on Netflix and watch that to see how they done it. But I am super excited to see where this goes. And the fact that Viz Media is actually doing a pretty decent job with the spines, I hope this shows. There we go. We're going to end up with a cityscape for the actual spines, which is beautiful because we don't normally get decent spines, so I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, that is all I've got for my Shounen and Seinen pile. I feel like we've got a pretty decent stack plus the box set, so I think I'm going to cut it here for the first part. So if you like this video, don't forget to give this video a like, comment and subscribe. Pop into the Manga Dudette Discord, which is in the description box down below. And yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. It won't be too long till part 2 comes out, so watch out for that one. That one will be my Shoujo and Josei. So yeah, until next time guys, have a good one and I will see you soon. Bye!